That's only call me Dave again. Now I've got me accounts back. Cheeky fuckers. Nicking someone's account. Bunch of weirdos. Let's have a bit of fun, shall we? Yeah. Feel like ages. You know, my mate, he said to me, he said, you know what? He said, this country's got so bad now. It only takes 5 minutes to get a fucking pizza delivered. But if you need an ambulance, it'll take half an hour. I said, why don't you just get the fucking pizza delivery boy, drop you off at the hospital, mate? You know what I mean? Give him a tenner, it'll be alright. I went into Subway the other day. He said, what would you like, sir? I said, can you give me a wrap, please? He spun his fucking hat round and started singing Slim Shady. You know what I mean? I'm the real Slim Shady. I wanted something to eat, you twat. You know what I mean? Yeah, his mate said, don't you worry, people be offended. I said, no, it's a fucking joke. That's a small conversation designed to be funny and not serious in any way. Enjoy it. I feel sorry for people who don't want to enjoy life. Walk past the cemetery. Here lies a miserable old bastard who refused to enjoy life and died very bitter and angry. He never enjoyed the journey we call life. I don't even know why they're fucking doing it. Some people only want material things and money. Start calling her Mrs. the fucking vintage cash cow now. Smile and relax, love. For us lads, smile and wave, boys, smile and wave. The lady at work, she just come back from Thailand. She brought me a nice fridge magnet. She said, you like Bangkok? I said, not right now, love, I've got work to do. I said, in England, Bangkok is either a wank or a quick shag, love, you know? Yeah. So I was thinking of getting a tattoo, you know, like a band across here. My mate said, that's easy. That's a walk-in service. I said, thank God for that. I hate it when you got a fucking abseil down the building and zip wire through the air vents. All shops are fucking walk-in service, isn't they? Appointment or not. You walk in the fucking door, don't you? Yeah, I was dating a homeless girl once. We got on really well and had a lot of fun. The advantage of dating a homeless girl is that you can drop her off anywhere, can't you? You fucking homeless. My mate said to me, he said, you ever look your partner in the eye when you're making love? I said, I did once. He said, what was it like? I said, well, she was very angry. He said, well, why was that? I said, well, she was stood at the top of the ladder looking in the window at the time, you know. Yeah. My mate Dave, another Dave, he sent me a picture of an old Rover 2000. You won't fucking remember them. And then a picture of Ronnie Barker. I fucking love Ronnie Barker, you know, porridge open all hours. And he actually looked like the back end of the Rover 2000. I said, hang on a minute, mate. I'm sure the missus looked like the back end of something. He said, yeah, the fucking back end of a horse. You know what I mean? Do you know what? There's a woman at work. She just found out she's pregnant. The father is a fucking pizza delivery boy. I said, fucking hell. How much cheese did you ask for? Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. A whole cheese string by the sound of it, you know. I mean, I like a glass of alcohol. That ain't good for you, but it make you feel good, doesn't it? You know. So, my lovely girlfriend, sad story. Alcohol killed her, you know. Yeah, I came home from piss from the pub earlier. I caught her in bed with another bloke and I fucking shot him. You know what I mean? Well, you see, if I weren't pissed, I wouldn't have fucking knocked shite. Oh, if I weren't pissed, I would have just knocked shite out of them and they both live, wouldn't they? But I shot them. But there weren't no CSI, you know, CSI in them days, was there? You know, all these detective programs. Yeah. And Mum had a lovely garden back then. It was a shame to dig it up, really, but needs must. I went to a speed dating session at a local pub, and it was a dare. The woman sat down. She said, "Do you like eating out?" I said, "Fucking, I thought you'd never ask." She ran out the fucking pub after I started kissing her. You know what I mean? Another woman sat down. She said, "Do you have any pets?" I said, "I love pets." I said, "Yes, I got a goldfish." She said, "Any hobbies?" I said, "Yeah, I like swimming." You know. She said, "Fuck me." I said, "Steady on, love. I just met you." I said, "Do you have any pets?" And she said, "Yeah, a parrot." I said, "I thought you liked the cockatoo." You know. She said, "I do. That's why I just said fuck me." She said, "I like honest communication." I said, "No bullshit, love. Fucking hell." My missus once went to an acupuncture session with a Chinese person. She said it was not like in a shed, but a building in the garden. I went in, I lay down on a massage bed. I said, "Hang on, you lay down on a massage bed in someone's back garden at night?" He said, well, it wasn't in the back garden. That was more like a bit on the side of the house. I said, a bit on the side, eh? I said, did you take your clothes off? He said, well, I've got to get my trousers off for them to get to the back of my leg and massage it better. Yeah, well, I said, well, you know, I don't actually go around someone's fucking shed at night, you know, and fucking get me kit off, you know, and lay down while they massage my pains away, you know. You know, it's not just massage. He said, there's like lots of little pricks. I said, fuck me, an orgy. I said, do you have to wear a mask and lay back and relax? Well, he puts steam on and it makes me sleepy. I said, yeah, it's called fucking Rohypnol, dear. He said, it felt amazing afterwards. I bet you did. You know. It's all beaver. I said, that was genuine therapy and it is good stuff. But that's how a fucking bloke's mind works, ladies. You know what I mean? It's jealous mind. Especially when you're laying naked in some other bloke's shed. Yeah. The other day I took a young lady out from work on my motorbike. She fucking loved it. She got off and she hugged me. She said, Dave, that's the wettest my knickers have ever been with any man. I said, I know. Next time, wear the fucking waterproofs like I fucking said. Do you know what I mean? Okay, now. You know, I feel sorry for women who are overweight. But they can't have a proper love life, can they? It gets in the way. My mate went out with a larger lady. And when they got in bed, she opened her legs and they were still shut. You know, there's some lovely ladies out there who just need some good guidance. You know, lads, let's give it to them. I mean, that's some good guidance, you know what I mean? Help them, reclaim a bit of, fun again. You know, in the world we live in, there's many ways to help others have a fun life. You know, watch comedy, fun mindset. Sorry about that. That's the wrong meeting. That's me fucking day job. Can't fucking switch it off. Okay, now. I just saw an advert. Temu Black Friday sale. Well, I wish I qualified. With this mask on, Black Friday, I should fucking do, shouldn't I? I was like, surely it's on a Friday, but it's not. So why call it Black Friday? Call it Everybody Gets a Bargain Sale. That's good for equality. Do you know what I mean? Not just put one group of people in the fucking title. The last Black Friday was not on a Friday. Everyone was allowed to buy things and it lasted about 2 months. Talk about fucking confusing. The other day there was a geezer on the bridge threatening to jump off, on the Orwell Bridge. And a mental health team went out and they said, I know the man, I'll try and talk him down. And the nurse came back and the policeman said, well, what's his mental state like? Well, she said, he's a bit on edge, officer. He said, sorry, love, he's fucking definitely more than a bit on edge. He's fucking hanging off the fucking edge. He never fucking jumped off, thank God. He's a bit on edge. I was watching a film the other night with my partner. Bloody good film. We had some cream cakes, really, really nice ones. With jam on it as well. There was only one left and we both reached for it, as you do. And I said, hang on, let's have half a cake each. She said, no, I want it. So she said, I'll toss you for it. I said, okay, I undone me zip, got me cock out. She'd already ate the cake. She got a 2p piece and flipped it. I said, you con bastard. You said you were going to toss me for it. Yeah, fucking hell. Last night I went to bed, I got my sleeping tablet mixed up with my Viagra tablet. So I didn't get 40 winks, I had 40 wanks. You know what I mean? Or more like 40 strokes. Sound like a fucking paint and decorator. Yeah, my mate was moaning at me the other day. He said, Dave, you work in mental health for 20 years. Why don't you find something else to do, Comedy for sure. I said, I'm like Taylor Swift's gynecologist. I fucking love my job. Yeah, my friend's daughter, she's at that age, where she keeps discovering boys. I told her not to dig the fucking garden up. No, she's dating. I think my mate must have told her that men have big feet, have big dicks. You should see some of the fucking clowns you keep bringing home, Fucking big feet. I was in B&Q the other day. I thought I'd get a little surprise for the missus. And I went over to customer service as this young shop attendant. I said, have you got a 10-inch vibrator, please, for the missus and some batteries? And he said, we don't sell vibrators, mate. I said, but this is a do-it-yourself shop, isn't it? Do it your fucking self, don't you? So I wandered off and I bought some multi-purpose compost. And I said to the bloke at the till, this multi-purpose compost, I said, I'm going to put most of it on my plants. But can you tell me what the other uses are for it, please? He didn't fucking know. Multi-purpose? Fucking hell. Anyway, I worked in mental health for quite a while. Once a patient made a sign for the ward and that said, relax, we're all crazy in here, it's not a fucking competition. I said, that's true, mate, you have to be mad to fucking work here. Mrs. is in the mood, I bought her some knickers with I would eat here again and 5 stars on it. Can't take a joke anymore. It was a compliment, innit? As in, I like the experience. 5 stars. I'd definitely come again. And so would fucking G. Eating like that. Being a comedian is fun. Making people laugh. Being sarcastical. Life's supposed to be fun. Don't waste a fucking moment. So, you know what? It's so hard to compliment women these days. You only have to whistle or talk suggestively and you get done for some sort of harassment. Yeah, every time I go into a public toilet, the minute I get my cock out, a lady cleaner comes in and starts polishing the fucking knobs. We don't complain, do we, lads? A messed up mindset with these woke ones. Have fun and love life and see the humour in everything. You're only here for a short amount of fucking time. You know? Yeah. I saw a TV story and that said, I survived the worst rated train company journey. Long fucking title. I didn't crash, did it? Get a fucking grip. Worst rated means it's normally running late or there's a lack of facilities. Surviving means you nearly fucking died. You know what I mean? You didn't survive, you didn't have to wait, you know. You didn't have to not have Wi-Fi for 2 hours and that was dangerous, you know. Fucking hell. Little girl talking to her mum. Mummy, where do babies come from? The sea, darling. Do you have to swallow it? You do if you want more money off your fucking dad. You know what I mean? Talking of that, I went to the sperm bank and now paying for deposits. I said to my mate Pete, just think of all the money we'll let fucking slip through our fingers over the years, you know what I mean? Anyway, I went in there and Tracey was in there from school behind the desk. She said, hello, long time no see. She said, do you remember when we were at school and I used to call you a wanker? Well, yeah, she was fucking right, wasn't she? She gave me a little plastic pot and a porno magazine, took me to a little cubicle. I said, Tracey, as you know me, maybe you can give me a hand. She said, do it yourself, wanker. So I took the pot back to the desk and I went, there you go, I filled it. And she said, Dave, that was a fucking urine sample, you know? We only need a little bit. I said, I'll give you a fucking little bit. Fuck off, Dave, you know? She said, I don't drink on the job. So she made me a cup of tea and a biscuit. You know, as I left, she said, please come again, Dave. I was like, you fucking cheek. Yeah. I had an accident a few years ago. My cock was completely sliced off. A surgeon said, we can't save yours. You know, it wouldn't fit in the ice bag, you know. He said, yesterday a baby elephant came in and he had an accident and his trunk was cut off. We got that in ice. It's bigger than mine. I said, oh, yeah, stitch it on with it, give it a go. So I had the operation. Lovely that was, big old trunk sticking out. Every time I moved, every time I thought about it. Weeks later, I had to go back to the doctor. So I said, I've got to have a cock replacement. You've got to get rid of this. I said, I like the functions and the size. And the missus loved that too. I said, but the other night I sat with her watching a film. The other night, the fucking trunk grabbed all the cream cakes off the table. I wouldn't have minded, but it kept stuffing them up the arse. You know what I mean? You'll fucking get it later, won't you? So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, follow, comment. Also tell me what your friends about, you know, about me for a good old laugh. And I'm a comedian. This is not truthful. It's not realistic. It's not against anyone. It's a joke. Having fun. Take care of yourselves. Keep smiling. See you in the next one.